All right. So this is the Gibson Atlas Medalist that I picked up a few weeks ago, sometime in December. It's a very neat amp. Gibson amps are kind of hit or miss. Some of them are great, some of them are not, in my experience. I actually do really kind of like this one. It's been recapped. It needs a little bit of work still. I don't know if I've got another tube. Unfortunately, the 6 EU7s are seem to be a little tired, and they're very expensive to replace. So I'm going to rewire this amp for 12AX7s probably, which just involves switching a couple pins on sockets, because electrically I think the 12AX7 is pretty much identical to the 6 EU7, so it should not make any difference at all to the way the amp reacts or sounds once I do that. But so this is the amp I've got. This is intended to be a bass amp. It originally had a 15. This one has a vintage 30 swapped in. You're gonna hear a little bit of excess like noise and distortion. I think that's one of the preamp tubes acting up, but you can at least hear how it sounds. I've done a little bit of work to it. So it has 3 controls: loudness, bass, and treble. But because it's a bass amp, the way the treble circuit is voiced, I can't tell if it's just a cut, if it's a mid boost, but it's definitely not what you would traditionally think of. So I'll just let you hear it. So right now everything's set at noon, bass and treble at noon. Turn it up about a third. This is my Grunge Master, so it's got 2 pretty bright P90s. So that's with everything straight up. If I roll some bass off, leave the treble at noon. Take that up to about 2/3. Probably can't hear it on the phone, but it definitely, it is pretty pleasant, the where the bass value is set. You can roll off the treble, crank the amp up if you want to darken it up a little. Sorry, I also did not tune my guitar ahead of this. So it's got a nice big sound, especially I've got the back off this cabinet right now while I'm working on it. And it's got a baffle that goes on the back, and you put that on there and there's even more kind of hugeness to this sound. Now, and I've only got this, just a little over a third of the way, between a third and halfway up. And it's kicking pretty hard. Halfway up, with everything set back. Louder than I probably ever would want to be. And now, like I said before, the treble will control the tone. Is it tone or treble? It is treble, but it doesn't act, once you get it, you know, it kind of acts like a treble cut from halfway up all the way back, but then once you get it above halfway, it starts to act kind of like a mid boost. So if I go up to about 3/4, this back up. God, that's loud. So it does roll back some of the high, but it almost is like it's kicking more mids in there too. Then if I turn it all the way up, maybe roll a little bass off, turn the volume up. Get it about, that's nice there. My guitar is probably way out of tune. It's very cold down here. I mean, it sounds cool, but it's way louder than I would ever want it at a gig. So, if you ever wanted to play it at a gig, you might need a attenuator of some sort. But it sounds pretty good when you roll volume back. I probably want a little. So loud. And just to kill myself, this loud is probably one of the loudest 50-watt amps that I've heard. It's unreal. That is so loud. So I'm going to be done with that before I just drill my ears. But this is just, a vintage 30 in an open back right now. And that's it. And a vintage 30 is a pretty efficient speaker, so it's going to kick a little harder than some other speakers. But man, there's no way with the back on this thing that you'd ever turn it all the way up. I can't even imagine this as a head on a 4x12 cabinet. It would just be devastatingly loud. So, yeah, that's my new Gibson Atlas Medalist. Medalist because it's a combo and not a head. They made this in a head that was just the Atlas. Got a little bit more work to do on it, I feel like. Like I said, I think some tubes, now that it's warmed up, I actually don't hear any of that tube noise that I heard before. So I'm going to check the values on some of the older capacitors on this thing and some of the older resistors in places. And like I said, probably wire up 12AX7s and then should be good to go. What a cool amp, though. Very cool.